Hey everyone. So today I'm going to be installing a doorbell. So right over here is my front door, and it should be a little closer, but there's no way to get to that wall. So I'm going to be putting it a few feet to the side of the door, but it's still perfectly noticeable to anyone wanting to ring it. And the reason I'm doing it in the middle of nowhere, it's very rare when anyone actually knocks on the door or anything like that. I kind of want it more for picking up animals and stuff, like a camera doorbell. So I'm going to run a wire up here. Now, how do I get it to the furnace room? Well, I have a few wires here that are dead. They're not connected. Well, I'm going to tie it to one of those and pull it all the way back through the ceiling with the doorbell wire. Now, I'm also going to put a little hole right here in the wall, because right here is where the chime is going to be if someone does ring it. There's going to be a chime on the other side here so you can hear it, when you're upstairs. So it's going to go right here. Now I have to fish it through all this ceiling right here. We got to open up this breaker box. I have to unscrew the whole panel. I got to get in there, and on the back side of this, we're going to put in a doorbell transformer, which converts the alternate current 120 down to only 16 volts of also alternate current. So I got this today. The doorbell transformer was pretty cheap. Got these little tacks, and they did not have doorbell wire at the store except a giant 500-foot roll. So I'm just going to use lamp wire. Perfectly fine. The codes are very lax with what's considered low voltage, under 50 volts. This is basically the same as putting your tongue on a 9-volt battery. It would give you the slightest little tingle if you ever did. So this is fine. And how do you identify negative and positive? Well, take a look. One of them has a little notch in it. I built a ladder at the moment. Not the smartest thing, but I'll get a ladder in a moment. So I'm up here. So with lamp wire, usually the smooth side is hot. Now we're going to look up here in the rafters. See, there's this giant void here inside the ceiling. Look at that big gap right there in the carrying beam. Never noticed that before. Never looked up here. But we're going to fish a wire through here. Here's the other ends of those ones you saw in the other room. See, they don't do anything. We're going to try to fish that all the way back through. So we got to figure out which one is this one. So I'm going to slightly hang it down like this, go tug on it, and whichever one is up inside here like that, when we get back, I'll know which is which. And we'll fish it back into the other room. So that will work, and then we'll have to tap in and knock out somewhere in the back. Hopefully there's an available breaker, or I'm going to have to just tie it on with something, because I don't think I have any available slots in here. All right, so here's what it looks like. See how you can mount it to the wall. So what we're going to do is, back in here, you see the knockouts right there? See how there's 3 of them? Or there's actually 5 of them that are the correct size. The one right in the center will leave us enough space to screw it to that stud, and then we'll be able to get something there. So on the inside here, if it's going to be coming out of here, do we have enough room to... Yep, but unfortunately these wires are only going to be able to reach this 30. I could put it into that 20 right there, but we could always move the 30 here and move these 2 here. Could. I'm just going to extend it, I think, with a few little pieces of wire. Alrighty, so we got that coming in. That's nice and tight. So we just spliced it a little bit. Come up here. I tapped into the family room. Shut that one breaker off while I was touching it. Although I was using an insulated screwdriver, but I left that there. I left the main on, so I was careful around that, because if you touch any of those things right there, except for the ground, you're gonna be dead. That's 200 amps right there coming in. So we got this set. Now I can close up the breaker box and the dangerous part's over. I don't need a ladder actually. I can just stand on the stool. I only needed the paint can when I was looking up in here myself. So we got this tied together. Oop, the furnace scared me. Now we're gonna pull that into the other room, but I'm gonna release a ton of slack first. All right, that piece did its job. I got a good amount in here. Now, as I pull in the other room, you can see it unspooling by itself. Look at that, it's spinning perfectly. Look at that, from in here. It's unspooling perfectly. Nice. Panels all covered up again. Now I'm gonna leave a little bit of slack right here, so when I actually get the doorbell in the mail, I can splice it and have a spot to put the chime, which is, so this uses an actual wire power supply, but it's wireless itself. The signal to the chime, it just needs a power supply, which I'm gonna hardwire. All right, I got it wrapped up here with the hot wire capped, just in case, so they don't touch. That's rolled up so I have enough slack whenever I decide to put the doorbell in, whenever it shows up in the mail. Have it tucked up inside here. And I left a little loop right there, so I have enough slack to come down into here, which I'll have to drill a hole right there at that time to put the chime. Then it comes through this hole here and through there. It's an unfinished room, so that right there is okay, that wire, but that would have to get moved up there and a couple holes drilled. Not a hard job if this was ever to be finished. That's why I'm making sure any new wires are out of the way so there's not more hassle. Same with that plumbing pipe. If this was ever to be a finished room, that would have to get corrected too, up inside. And in here, it's going, sharing those holes, sharing those holes. It's tacked back in here, comes down here, and goes up right into here, and it's connected. It's now on, so good and good. So this is a tight spot. That one right there looks like I need to, yeah, that's not on there good enough. I couldn't see it. I can't see in there with the shelf in the way, so I'll fix that right now. But you see, you leave a little piece on the end there to keep the stranded wire from becoming a jumbled mess. But I couldn't see what I was doing. I was working blind right there because there's a bunch of junk in the way. That one looks okay. This one I gotta fix. But everything is good now. Everything's connected. I got that in there as best I could. It's a little crooked, as you can see, just because there's not a good amount of space for it, and that literally couldn't go anywhere else. That was the only hole that was situated correctly for that to be screwed to the wall. Although I guess it didn't have to be screwed. I could have added a piece of wood somewhere else to accommodate it.